Welcome to This Explainer. If you're an indie filmmaker, you already know that actually making a movie is only half the battle, right? The other half is getting people to watch the thing and, actually getting paid for it. So today, we're diving into some fantastic data from Shortfundly to settle a massive industry debate. Amazon Prime Direct versus film aggregators. Which route is actually going to make you more money? Let's get right into it.
It's the ultimate modern filmmaker's dilemma. You've spent months, maybe years, writing, shooting, and editing. You've literally bled for your art. You've maxed out those credit cards, and you finally have a finished film. Now what? How do you actually get that finished movie in front of audiences and generate the revenue you need to keep your career going? Well, that is exactly what we're answering today by looking at the two main distribution paths.
Here's how we're breaking it all down today. 1. The indie distribution choice. 2. Comparing the financials. 3. Logistics, reach, and control. 4. The $10,000 example. And 5. Strategies for prime success.
All right, let's jump straight into part 1, the indie distribution choice, the modern filmmaker's dilemma. We're going to use Shortfundly's breakdown as our master roadmap for this. We'll be going through the major differences between going direct through Amazon or using an aggregator. We're talking earnings, upfront costs, reach, control, and payment timelines, the whole shebang, really, to figure out which path is better for your wallet. So first up, we have film aggregators. Basically, an aggregator is a middleman. You hand them your movie, and they do the heavy lifting of getting it onto various platforms. It's essentially a set it and forget it model. If you want easy distribution without the daily grind of managing it, this is for you. But hitting that easy button comes with a very real trade-off for your bottom line.
On the other side of the ring, we've got Amazon Prime Direct. This is your hands-on, totally DIY approach. Because you bypass the middleman and publish straight to Prime Video, you have to bring the marketing hustle yourself. But the reward for doing your own heavy lifting? Significantly higher potential earnings.
Moving right along to section 2, comparing the financials, where the money goes.
Okay, let's dive into the financials because this is where the numbers get super exciting. The most striking advantage of Prime Direct, for sure, is the raw earning potential. Creators who publish directly can keep up to a staggering 70% of the revenue. You put in the work, you keep the lion's share of the profit.
Compare that to aggregators, and you really see the actual cost of convenience. Because they do the legwork to place your film everywhere, they take a massive slice of the pie. Filmmakers usually only retain about 30% to 50% of the revenue. Giving up that kind of percentage is a huge hit to your earning power over time. But we also have to think about what it costs just to get your foot in the door. Prime Direct has a very manageable one-time flat fee per title, literally just $25 for standard content. Aggregators, on the other hand, are pretty much entirely commission-based. Sure, there might not be an upfront cost, but that high cut they take, it eats into your ongoing profits forever. It is basically the difference between paying a $25 toll once or paying a tax for the rest of your life. And hey, let's talk cash flow. If you're trying to fund your next project, when you get paid is almost as important as how much you get paid. Prime Direct pays out monthly, just 60 days after the month ends. Aggregators, well, they're kind of notorious for delayed payments. You could easily be waiting anywhere from 90 to 180 days, sometimes half a year, just to see a single dime. All right, let's move to section 3, logistics, reach, and control. Managing your release. Let's talk about reach. Aggregators absolutely give you a wider spread. They can push your film out across multiple OTT platforms, regular TV, and even those little screens on airplanes. But Prime Direct counters that wide net with sheer incredible density. You get a single, concentrated audience of over 200 million global subscribers, all in one place. It's kind of like choosing between being a tiny fish in a dozen different ponds or swimming in one massive ocean. Which leads us right into control. With Prime Direct, you maintain absolute, total control over your pricing, your content, and any metadata updates. It is your storefront. You run it. Aggregators, just by how they function, have to take the wheel. They significantly limit how you price and market your film because they're juggling the varying rules of all those different platforms they distribute to. Okay, section 4, the $10,000 example, the bottom line. Percentages can feel a bit abstract, so let's ground this with a real-world scenario. Imagine your indie film is a solid hit. You found your audience, people are watching, and you generate exactly $10,000 in total gross earnings. This is a massive milestone. Now let's look at exactly how much of that cash actually makes it to your bank account under both models. The difference here is honestly staggering. Going direct to Prime puts $7,000 right in your pocket. Meanwhile, handing your film over to an aggregator leaves you with just $4,000. For an indie filmmaker trying to make a living, that is a totally different reality. Because of that $3,000 difference, the data leads us to a pretty clear conclusion. If you want higher earnings, full control, and a direct pipeline to the world's biggest audience, Amazon Prime Direct is absolutely the way to go. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Strategies for Prime Success, Maximizing Your Revenue. Since you don't have a middleman, you are the marketing department. You have to drive the traffic. Shortfundly highlights 4 key strategies here. First, obviously, your content has to be high quality. Second, optimize your metadata, that means your title, poster, and keywords, so Amazon's algorithm knows exactly who wants to watch your movie. Third, go hard promoting on social media. And fourth, start building an email list and owning your audience. You have to be your film's biggest champion. Understanding these 2 completely different models gives you the power to really own your distribution. Yeah, the set it and forget it convenience of an aggregator is nice, but it comes at a steep, steep price. The hustle of Prime Direct unlocks full control and a massively higher profit ceiling. So, knowing what's at stake for your bottom line, are you willing to trade thousands of dollars just for a little convenience? Which path are you going to choose for your next release?